Okay, so picture this. You're at work, you accidentally spill coffee on your desk, and your colleague looks at you and says, "Oh, wow, nice going," with a big smile. And you're thinking, wait, are they complimenting me or?
They're definitely not complimenting you, Clara.
Exactly. That's sarcasm. And if you're learning English, that moment right there, absolute confusion.
I mean, the words sound positive, but something feels off.
Right. And today we're diving deep into sarcasm in English because honestly, it's way more complicated than people think.
Welcome back to TalkFluent. I'm James.
And I'm Clara. And if you've ever been confused whether someone was being serious or sarcastic, this episode is for you.
Because let's be real, sarcasm can make or break conversations. You miss it, and suddenly you look like you don't get the joke.
Or worse, you think someone's being mean when they're actually being funny.
Step 1. What is sarcasm? Alright, so let's start with the basics. Clara, how would you explain sarcasm?
Okay. So, sarcasm is basically when someone says the opposite of what they actually mean. Usually to be funny, or sometimes a little bit mean.
Yeah, like if it's raining heavily outside and I say, oh great. Perfect weather for a picnic.
Exactly. You don't actually think it's great weather. You're being sarcastic.
But here's where it gets tricky. The same sentence without sarcasm could be genuine.
Right. If it's actually sunny and beautiful and I say perfect weather for a picnic, I mean it.
So the words are the same, but the meaning is completely different.
And that's why it confuses so many English learners. You can't just translate the words.
You need to understand the tone, the context, the situation.
Even the facial expressions.
Exactly. It's like a whole package.
And different cultures use sarcasm differently. Like British people, masters of sarcasm.
Oh yes, absolutely brilliant weather we're having. When it's pouring rain.
Perfect example. Americans use it too, but British sarcasm is on another level.
It's basically their second language.
So, if you're talking to native English speakers, especially British ones, you need to understand sarcasm or you'll miss half the conversation.
Step 2. Why it's so confusing. Alright, so let's talk about why sarcasm is so hard to catch, especially if English isn't your first language.
Oh man, where do we even start? First of all, tone of voice.
Right. Sarcasm has a very specific tone. It's kind of flat or exaggerated.
Yeah, like if someone says, "Oh, that's just great." You hear that drawn out tone?
That's sarcasm. But if you're not used to it, you might just hear the words "that's great" and think they're happy.
Exactly. And when you're learning English, you're already concentrating so hard on understanding the words that you might miss the tone completely.
Plus, textbooks don't teach sarcasm.
Right? Like, no English class is teaching you, okay, when someone says this, they actually mean the opposite.
You only learn it by living it, by being around native speakers.
And even then, it takes time. I remember when I was learning Spanish, I completely missed sarcasm for the first year.
Really? What happened?
My friend said something sarcastic, and I responded seriously. Everyone laughed, and I was so confused.
That's the worst feeling.
It is. You feel like you're missing out on the joke.
And that's another thing, sarcasm is often used for humor. So if you don't get it, you don't get why everyone's laughing.
Which makes you feel left out.
Exactly. And here's something else, context is everything with sarcasm.
Oh, yeah. The same sentence can be sarcastic in one situation and genuine in another.
Like, imagine your friend shows you their new phone and you say, "Oh, nice phone." You're being genuine.
But if they drop their phone and crack the screen and you say, "Oh, nice phone," that's sarcasm.
Same words, totally different meaning based on context.
And if you're not paying attention to the situation, you'll get it wrong.
Definitely. Also, cultural differences play a huge role.
Yes. In some cultures, being indirect or saying the opposite of what you mean is very common.
But in other cultures, people are much more direct. They say exactly what they mean.
So if you come from a direct culture, sarcasm can feel confusing or even rude.
You might think, why don't they just say what they actually mean?
Fair question.
Step 3 is how to recognize sarcasm. Okay, so we've established that sarcasm is confusing. But how do you actually recognize it?
Great question. Let's break it down. First clue, tone of voice.
Sarcastic tone is usually exaggerated or flat. It doesn't sound natural.
Right. Like if someone fails a test and says, "Well, that went amazing." Hear how dramatic that sounds.
Yeah, the exaggeration gives it away.
But sometimes it's the opposite, super flat and monotone.
Like, "Oh, great. Another meeting. I'm so excited."
Perfect. That flat delivery is a dead giveaway.
Second clue, facial expressions.
Yes. People often roll their eyes, smirk, or have this deadpan expression when being sarcastic.
If someone says something positive but their face looks annoyed, probably sarcasm.
Exactly. Body language doesn't match the words.
Third clue, context. Does what they're saying make sense in the situation?
Right. If it's raining and someone says, "Beautiful day," probably sarcasm.
Or if someone makes a mistake and you say, "Great job." Sarcasm.
The situation tells you it can't be genuine.
Fourth clue, exaggeration.
Oh, yeah. Sarcastic people love to exaggerate.
Like, "Oh sure, because that's exactly what I wanted to do today, sit in traffic for 3 hours."
Nobody wants that. The exaggeration makes it obvious.
And fifth clue, the relationship between people.
Ooh, that's a good one. Friends use sarcasm with each other a lot.
Yeah, it's kind of a bonding thing. Light teasing.
But with strangers or informal situations, people are usually more direct.
So if your close friend says something that sounds mean, it's probably playful sarcasm.
But if your boss says it, uh-oh.
Yeah, Different situation entirely.
Also, listen for certain phrases that often signal sarcasm.
Like what?
Oh, really? Classic sarcastic response.
Or wow, shocking when something is totally predictable.
What a surprise. When it's absolutely not surprising.
Oh, that's just perfect when everything's going wrong.
Yeah. Once you know these phrases, you start recognizing the pattern.
And honestly, the more you expose yourself to English conversations, movies, TV shows,
The better you get at picking up on sarcasm.
it becomes like a sixth sense.
Step 4. Common sarcasm examples. Let's do some real examples so people can practice recognizing sarcasm.
Good idea. I'll say something, you tell me if it's sarcastic or not.
Okay, ready.
Scenario 1. You studied really hard for an exam and got an A. I say, wow, you must be so disappointed.
Sarcastic. Obviously, you're not disappointed with an A.
Correct. Scenario 2. You're late to meet me. I say, oh hey, no worries, I love waiting.
Definitely sarcastic. Nobody loves waiting.
Right. Scenario 3. You show me your new haircut and I say, that looks really nice.
That could go either way. Depends on your tone and face.
Exactly. If I smile genuinely, it's a real compliment. If I smirk or my tone is off, it's sarcastic.
See how tricky it is? Same words, completely different meaning.
Scenario 4. It's Monday morning and I say, I just love Mondays. Best day of the week.
Sarcasm. Most people don't love Mondays.
Unless you're a weird morning person.
Hey, some of us exist.
Okay, one more. Scenario 5. You suggest going to the gym and I say, yeah, sure, that sounds fun.
Depends. If you actually like the gym, genuine. If you hate exercise, sarcastic.
See? Context and tone are everything.
It really is. And here's a tip for our listeners. When in doubt, ask.
Yes. There's no shame in saying, wait, are you being serious or sarcastic?
Native speakers do this too sometimes.
Absolutely. It's better to ask than to misunderstand completely.
And most people will respect that you're trying to understand.
Step 5. Using sarcasm yourself. So we've talked about recognizing sarcasm. But what about using it yourself?
Ooh, that's advanced level. Should you use sarcasm as an English learner?
I think, carefully.
Very diplomatic answer.
Here's the thing, sarcasm can be funny and show you understand cultural nuances.
But it can also backfire if your tone isn't right or the other person doesn't realize you're being sarcastic.
Exactly. So my advice? Observe first.
Yeah, listen to how native speakers use it. What situations? What tone?
And start with obvious sarcasm. Don't be subtle about it when you're learning.
Right. Like really exaggerate your tone so it's clear you're joking.
And use it with friends first, not in professional settings.
Good point. Sarcasm at work can be risky.
Especially if people don't know your sense of humor yet.
You might come across as rude instead of funny.
Also, some cultures find sarcasm rude regardless.
True. So know your audience.
And if you do use sarcasm and someone looks confused, just quickly clarify.
Yeah. Like, sorry, I was joking. Or I was being sarcastic.
No harm in explaining. It happens to everyone.
And honestly, understanding sarcasm is more important than using it.
Agreed. You don't have to be sarcastic yourself.
But you do need to recognize it when others use it.
Because native English speakers, especially young people, use sarcasm constantly.
It's just part of how we communicate.
So if you want to really understand English conversations, you need to get comfortable with sarcasm.
Let's wrap up. All right, let's wrap this up. What have we learned today?
Sarcasm is when you say the opposite of what you mean, usually for humor or light criticism.
It's super common in English, especially British English.
It's hard to recognize because it depends on tone, context, facial expressions, and cultural understanding.
Not just the words themselves.
To recognize sarcasm, listen for exaggerated or flat tone, watch facial expressions, and pay attention to context.
Look for phrases like, "Oh, great," "What a surprise," or "Oh, really?" Often sarcastic.
If you're unsure, it's totally fine to ask, "Are you being serious?"
Native speakers do this too.
And if you want to use sarcasm yourself, observe first, start with obvious sarcasm, and use it with friends.
But remember, understanding it is more important than using it.
Because you'll encounter sarcasm in everyday English conversations, in movies, in TV shows.
It's everywhere.
So keep practicing, keep listening, and don't feel bad if you miss it sometimes.
Even native speakers misread sarcasm occasionally.
True. It happens to the best of us.
All right, everyone. We want to hear from you. Drop a comment and tell us, have you ever completely missed sarcasm in English?
Or used sarcasm and it totally backfired? We want to hear your stories.
And if this episode helped you understand sarcasm better, hit that subscribe button.
We're here every day with practical English tips to help you sound more fluent and confident.
Thanks for listening to TalkFluent.
Keep practicing, keep learning,
And
we'll see you in the next episode.